It's called Thomas Tuchel Rulebreaker. I take it because he is a bit of a maverick when it comes to the way that he conducts himself. Tell us a little bit about his personality.
Yeah, well, we call him a rule breaker because he himself called him a rule breaker in the beginning, because he did things that nobody expected from him. In the first early days in Mainz, he became a coach. He was a youth coach, juniors coach a few days before. Then Mainz sacked the coach in the Bundesliga team, and then he was there as a young coach. Nobody knew him, and he did things nobody expected in the first days, and he kept being a rule breaker. He did things nobody thought in this moment, and so perhaps even now he speaks very, very clear words yesterday that nobody probably expects from a coach. Normally they defend themselves, they defend the players, they say, oh well, it's preseason and so on, but Thomas Tuchel is very clear in his mind, very clear in his words, and I think he is still a rule breaker.
Yeah, when you say he's a rule breaker, he did things that many people didn't expect him to do, even in his early career. What kind of things did he do that caused such a stir?
Well, in the first training session, the very first training session, he became first-time professional coach. He worked with older players, routine players, experienced players, and he told them to do very easy things like passes for 5 meters and call their names. You know, he was encouraged to do this, and normally experienced players say, what is he doing? What is he expecting from us? We can do much more. But he did very simple things, and he kept being very simple to find security in the team, to find stability. And that is, for example, a thing of rule breaking, I think. Later on, he changed all regularities. They went to Bayern Munich for a match, and they didn't fly there a day before, like it was usual in Germany. They were flying in the morning to break the routines, to do different things. And all times he tries to find new ways to stimulate his players.
Daniel, we know that he's a combustible character. I think when he was at Borussia Dortmund, the CEO described him as a difficult person but a fantastic coach. These comments that he's made during the tour of America, should Chelsea fans be worried about the long-term future and his relationship moving forward with the new owner?
Well, you probably know more about the relationship with the new owner, but my feeling is he likes working together with the owners. In Dortmund, the problem was he was working with Aki Watzke, who is the boss, but he's not the owner. We have a different culture in Germany. We don't have these ownership structures. So also Aki Watzke is paid from a society. That is, the majority is at the club, and so it's very different. I think Tuchel has his problems with people like Watzke or other people at Dortmund because they didn't follow his way. They had to think on the supporters, to do the favor to them and so on. And in this relationship with the owner, I think both of them think of having success. The owner wants success to make money. Tuchel wants success because he is a coach that wants to win everything. And normally, I think he likes the relationship to owner. In Paris, he also had a problem with Leonardo and not with the owner, because Leonardo wanted to be the star or wanted to be the boss and not him. And like I understand now that in Chelsea, Tuchel got more power from the owner at the moment. And I think this is normally what Tuchel wants. He wants all the responsibility for the sporting stuff.
But I suppose this is just him expressing clear, direct communication, telling everybody what he wants. He's not hiding anything here or stirring a pot. He's just making everybody aware, this is what I need in order to succeed, isn't he?
Yeah, sure. He wants to wake up the players, I think. That's the most important part. I think he believes in his players. He brought them to Chelsea. He doesn't know exactly what is going on with Azpilicueta or with Werner. That is perhaps irritating him, but with a roster, he can be successful. I'm persuaded that he knows, or he is persuaded about that. And Tuchel is a coach that can change the performance of the team in between 10 days. So I don't think he is doubting on starting in the new season in a perfect way.
Do you think it would have hurt him last season that Chelsea was so far adrift of being title challengers? Because I think when we sat here last summer, they just signed Lukaku, brought him back to the club. I think we all felt that Chelsea
Champions League winners
could be genuine Premier League contenders. And actually, it fell away, didn't it, when the two wing-backs got injured? They never really recovered.
Yeah, sure. They had problems last season, and in the end, with the Russia thing, I think there were many problems that were not in the that he couldn't manage on his own. I think he managed the situation in a good way. They qualified for Champions League, that's at least, and that Man City and Liverpool did a perfect season. That is not in his power, you know. I'm not sure. He wants to be better for sure. He always wants to be better, and he wanted to win titles. And I think he was very disappointed not to win the cup final and the League Cup final. That is what he is worrying about. But I don't think that he doubts on the quality of the Chelsea club. He knows there is the winning spirit. He brought it back, or he brought it back to Chelsea, and he wants to win this season any title, that's for sure.
Thank you very much. That's Daniel Meuren, who wrote a biography on Thomas Tuchel, The Rulebreaker, giving us a little bit of context around Thomas Tuchel, who has been quite clear and direct with his wants from Chelsea in this transfer window. I mean, look, he is difficult to work with. That's what his former boss said back in November 2020. But isn't that just because he's a high-ranking, high-intense coach who demands the very best? And actually, is he just pushing everyone?
They're all like that. You know, Ten Hag has come in, done the same thing. If they think that's rule breaking, you should have worked under Martin O'Neill. You know, who was crazy at times. Oh, you'd have like 5 days off. You just, turn up for a game and just out of the blue. I mean, completely random stuff. Everything was about winning, no matter what. You know, it could change at a moment's notice. You'd have a running session before the game, and if you lost, there'd be a forfeit and all these types of things. He was proper rule breaker. You know, he did not care what it was. If you want to have a drink before a game, not a problem. He did that on one or two occasions. Sam Allardyce used to do that. Take the lads for a game of pool or something. You know, no training, or a game of tennis, before a game to relax them. That's always happened, It's
a little bit different, though, standing up to your owners and saying, this is what I want.
Well,
this is what I need, and if you don't give it to me, we're not going to be successful this season.
Every single manager has done that at some point. Sir Alex Ferguson has done that.
In pre-season, just before
Mourinho has done. Of course it is. Mourinho has done that. Arsene Wenger would have done that. All the top coaches would have said, look, I want more. I want more. And they'll ask, and then they'll get to the point, you know what? I'll throw it in publicly. Danny's
right, isn't he? This is a normal tactic of a high-ranking manager who's just saying, this is what I want, and please give it to me.
Yeah, and I think also he's doing it from a position of power, certainly in the eyes of the Chelsea fans, because as you mentioned there, he won them the Champions League, and I think he got a lot of credit for the way that he conducted himself during the sanctions last season. So this is Thomas Tuchel throwing down the gauntlet to Todd Bowley. Get me some players in the building, or we won't challenge.
And it's still a good squad. You look at Mendy's in goal. You've got James and Chilwell. Obviously, Koulibaly has just come in. Who that centre-half? Maybe they need one more centre-half.
I think they need two.
Well, if they're fit, you probably just need one. You've still got Thiago Silva in there. The midfield is strong. You've got some good players now. You've got Kante if he gets fit. You've got Jorginho. Conor Gallagher, everyone's raving about. Mason Mount can play in that position. Then you've got Sterling that's just come in. You've got Havertz in there. Pulisic, can be a decent player.
So do you think he's overreacting?
No, I think he wants one or two more players, and he's been told he was going to get them, hasn't quite got them yet, and now it's like, well, okay, I'll go out and say publicly, you said we were going to get them, and you know what it's like. Owners do that; they bow to fan pressure. If it's all of a sudden a bit of fan pressure, and why haven't we got these players in? All of a sudden, okay, we better go and sign somebody. We better maybe pay a few more quid to get somebody, and that's all he's doing.
Well, maybe that's what it is. They need to pay a little bit more money, bearing in mind that everybody knows how much cash they've got.
I think so, but I think also the fact that we've got this unusual freak of a season whereby we've got the break for the World Cup, the season starts earlier. I mean, they're 2 weeks away from their first Premier League game, and I think that's creeping up on a lot of clubs, and we spoke about it before we came on air. I think there's going to be a few clubs in those early games that look a bit undercooked, and maybe Chelsea are in danger of being one of those.
But that's almost like an elective way of going about things. Manchester City, I'm sure we'll talk about this as the week goes on. They came back later than everybody else for pre-season, and they only will have played, I think, 3 games before the start of the campaign, and that includes the Community Shield. So some clubs are making choices on that. I know that Pep Guardiola used the Community Shield last season as the final pre-season friendly. Because
I think he'll do it again.
That is the plan. Because ultimately he wanted to have more of a break for his players, and with the season being as long as it's going to be, it goes right the way through till June, then that is understandable.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.